this, and he had hundreds of students, and it literally was a full-time job for him, so I've never forgotten that. But with that, James.
Be sure and get one of these cards that Chuck is handing out, and make sure you have that. One thing I'd like to ask you to do is when you see it, put it on the refrigerator, put it in your Bible, pray for us, pray for the good things going on all around the world and down the street and on other continents and things like that. And then also on the flip side, there's a practical side. It's all the different ways that folks can teach, and then some QR codes and websites and things like that. But so be sure and do that. Also notice you guys have some catalogs and some action magazines in the entryway on the tables. There's plenty of information in there as well. Be sure you grab some of those along the way. And again, thank you for tonight, and thank you for your history with World Bible School, with Ocean Bridge, with all the different various entities that come along, the different platforms that come along. And just know I'm thankful for you. We're thankful for you. And especially thank you for tonight. I got a short video we're going to start with, and then we'll get rolling.
Rise and follow me, I'll make you worthy. Rise and follow me, I'll make you fishers of men. Jesus bore the cross to gather in the lost. Oh, what a mighty cause to set us free from sin. Rise and follow me, I'll make you worthy. Rise and follow me, I'll make you fishers of men. Rise and follow me, I'll make you worthy. Rise and follow me, I'll make you fishers of men.
I grew up went to school in Ranlett, Oklahoma, right across the river from Wichita Falls, Texas, between Oklahoma City and Dallas. And the school, the town where I went to school, 500 people. Church was about 100, 110 or so. When I told buddies later in life in ministry, I grew up in a church that had 20% of my town's population. And they were like, oh, wow, that's great. So small church in the northwest corner of the church building. Maybell Fowler's first, second, and third grade class was there, and just three of the best years of childhood were spent in her Bible class. And one of those passages you learn, and some of you can attest to this, you probably had a similar experience, is that you're gonna be ready, prepared, in season, out of season. Be ready any time to give an answer for the hope that you have. And that's something I'm thankful for. I associate her face every time I think of that verse or read that verse. Now, what's interesting is the first time I saw this video, and I pull this up a couple times a week just to kind of reframe myself, is this idea. Maybell would really be thankful that I'm challenged by this, is that am I so prepared, am I so ready, am I so on board with the assignment that I carry a net around with me? Now, I know it's a metaphor, but am I so ready that I'm to connect? Am I so ready to introduce someone to Jesus, to make that connection, that I carry a net around with me at all times? Again, I'm with World Bible School, and you guys have had some history with World Bible School over the years, but our purpose is to share Jesus with the world by motivating and equipping a global network of Christians to use interactive Bible study effectively. And there's some key words there. I would make my English teacher proud as well, growing up. But a couple of key words there, one, sharing Jesus, but also a global network of Christians. Interactive Bible study. We can send materials everywhere. We can launch digital platforms anywhere and everywhere in the world. But with World Bible School, what we want to happen, we want it so much that we make it part of our purpose, whether we're talking about printed media, over 50 years ago, or whether we're talking about a digital platform today. We want to make sure that the interactive component is intact. Meaning, if someone is learning about Jesus for the first time, if someone is being introduced to Jesus, that there's someone on the other end that knows Jesus that's walking with them. That there's someone on the other end that is helping guide them, that's fulfilling the Great Commission, that is going into all the world, all the people groups, somehow. Again, printed, digital, hybrid, but that's our purpose, to share Jesus with the world, motivating and equipping a global network of Christians to use interactive Bible study effectively. Real quick, if you're getting to know World Bible School for the first time, if this is kind of an introduction, or a reminder, we commit to these values. These are the things that we want to make us who we are. The first one is we follow and teach God's inspired word. Pure and simple. That is our guide. That is our textbook. That is our material. However you want to say it, it's God's inspired word. We depend upon God through prayer. Now, coming out of the Charlotte airport today, I prayed a lot. I'm like, you remember I grew up in that town of 500 people? No, I know what traffic is, but y'all have some serious traffic in the area. Yeah, you really do. And I'm thinking, this is kind of midday-ish, And I thought, 15 miles, no problem. And then the ETA kept ticking along the way. But we depend upon God through prayer, whether it's in traffic or whether it's a project coming up, whether it's a new push into an area of the world, whether it's a new use that a church or a family comes to us with. Here's a new use for this platform. There's just so many things to pray for. We strive to be effective in, it originally said our mission, and we got all the marketing done, and we got all the printing done, and we got everything laid out and everything published, and we thought, it really doesn't matter if it's our mission. Are we part of God's mission? Are we part of Jesus' mission? I leave my slide like that just to remind me when I'm going through things. We serve the church doesn't serve us. We want to be a resource to renew the church and reconcile the lost. You're going to start hearing a lot of that in 2026. But we want to renew the church, reconcile the lost, and then we want to practice good stewardship. I mean, churches, families, groups, individuals, they partner with us, and their giving to God results in us having a budget, results in us having funds for projects, results in us being able to publish platforms or print materials. And so we want to practice good stewardship at all times. And finally, we want to live sacrificially alongside the church. I'm thankful for what God gives us in brothers and sisters. I've seen so many examples of who people are and what people are, and it's just a blessing to be around. 40 million, it's actually about 44 million, I found out a few weeks ago. It's actually about 44 million students have started a World Bible School study since 1973, and that's seed planted. We don't know how many of those folks have studied or taught other people. We don't know how many of those folks. I've known people personally that have said, hey, can you look through this with me as they're getting ready to be baptized? And so there's no telling 40 million what that's going to turn into, but we look forward to seeing that in heaven. Here's a quick message from Brian Davis, our president.
Hello, my name is Brian Rex Davis, president of World Bible School. For over 50 years, World Bible School has equipped churches of Christ with tools for reaching souls who are seeking to know Jesus. Starting in the garage of a man with a dynamite personality, Jimmy Lovell put a simple ad in a newspaper offering a free Bible study. During that span, over 40 million people started a World Bible School study alongside the tens of thousands of Christians who have been willing to share the gospel message to them. In the last 50 years, we have developed multiple ways to share the gospel message to the world through postal correspondence, online correspondence, and Methodist using the internet and now smartphone apps. And most recently, a program we call Ocean Bridge, which merges printed courses and innovative digital technology together to improve the study experience. As we reflect back on the forward-thinking moments of our past, we are inspired to press forward to continue sharing the gospel of Jesus for the next 50 years and beyond. That doesn't happen without Christians like you, who are willing to share your faith with those seeking to know Jesus, and to partner with us financially so we can continue offering these Bible studies to students free of charge. Will you press forward with us?
As Brian mentioned, Jimmy Lovell was the founder of World Bible School. If you notice the little play on words there, he was the contractor that provided the dynamite for the Hoover Dam originally. And so later in life, he found a way he could serve. And so he funded Bible correspondence courses for military personnel, first in Europe and during and after World War II, a number of years after World War II. And he was still putting those correspondence courses all over different European newspapers. Along the way, there was a man named C.A.O. Eason from Nigeria, and he was in Europe. He was not U.S. military personnel. He wasn't from Europe, but he turned in one of those coupons. For Bible correspondence course. Even today in Nigeria, some people estimate that there are more per capita members of churches of Christ than anywhere else on the planet, mostly through the work of Mr. Eason's family. And so we're grateful for that, obviously. Lots of folks in heaven we're going to get to spend time with, but most importantly, that was the genesis of World Bible School, even before 1973. But as 1973 comes along, Mr. Lovell's also the editor of a newspaper called Action newspaper. It previously been West Coast Christian, and he began trying to recruit lots of helpers. He needed lots of help for all of these return correspondence courses, all these coupons coming back in. And so he put an article, or that's the headline from an article he put in the paper in 1973, World Bible School, all church involvement. And that is the beginning of not only World Bible School, but also of Action Media in regards to World Bible School. Today, Action Media, coming from that newspaper all the way to different podcasts and magazines. You guys have some magazines out there in the entryway, just doing some tremendous things through Action Media. It come a long ways from those newspaper and those coupons being returned and things like that back in the day. But with this idea of 50 forward, we like to celebrate. We love looking at and remembering and bringing to mind the things of the last 50 years. But we also ask ourselves, what are we going to be doing in the next 50 years if Jesus gives us that 50 years? What are we going to do for the Lord, different platforms using current technology, whether it be newspapers 50, 60 years ago, or whether it be any kind of digital format on into the future? We want to push forward. Now, there's 4 ways that you can teach, and this is on the back of your card that you have. There are 4 ways a person can teach using World Bible School materials: postal, online, Ocean Bridge, and Methodist. Now, tonight's going to feel like a fire hose kind of approach to information. But what I want to do tonight is, you guys have experience with Ocean Bridge. You guys have some experience with the postal and with the printed materials. What I'd like to do is concentrate on the online platform, as well as the Methodist platform. So if you see me speeding up and slowing down, that's what we're going to be doing tonight. But we always go back to the postal. Even through the frustrations of the international postal system the last few years, postal is still a viable platform within the family of World Bible School and with the family of platforms. Even last year, with all the frustrations of international postal system, of all the frustrations of knowing that there are post offices that have bags of materials that they're not putting out, or we might hear from a student in a matter of 6 months to a year instead of a matter of 6 to 8 weeks like we used to, there were still 445,000 students in postal last year. And we're thankful for that because, again, that's seed planted. So we might sound like sometimes we're not ever trying to bring down postal. We're just trying to bring up our other platforms to that kind of fruitfulness that we've had over the years with postal. Now, online is where I want to camp out a little bit. This is a program or a platform that I personally, I love a lot. I'm an old ministry guy. I'm an old minister, business owner, stuff like that. So it fires a lot of switches in my mind with the online program. But with the online program, if you're the teacher, if you're the Bible study helper, you can use any device. All right, and there's no purchase of a device. There's no just what if you have your phone already and you have an internet connection. If you have your home device, you are using your personal device to teach and to share. You can do it from worldbibleschool.org on the computer. You can do it from your phone, and it's just you can be going in a couple of days. There's just a brief enrollment process. We'll throw up a QR code here after a while. There's a brief enrollment process to get you into the system. And the reason we do that is once we have a couple of folks from the same church, guess what? We are now able to offer the church different platforms of ministry or supplemental ministry from going forward. So there's just a lot of neat ways. The red World Bible School Lite, that is an illustration of the app that students use in low connectivity areas. A student can use World Bible School app, a student can use their computer, but in some parts of the world, World Bible School Lite has been very successful. One good download and they have their entire Bible. One good download and they have all the lessons inside their phone. Now, they'll open it up with their teacher, they'll open it up in messaging, but they have everything because, and if you remember, it hasn't been too many years ago, my oldest to remember this, where we paid for text. Remember that? 25 cents in, 25 cents out. I mean, I told my oldest one time, I spent a couple of days with him in Baltimore just this past couple of days, left him this morning. But I told him one time, I remember kind of getting on to him saying, we could be flipping houses for what we pay for your texting. We really could. But those were the days when you paid for data. There was no unlimited data. The thing is, we're now far enough away from that. We kind of have nostalgic reminiscing and kind of giggling. But in some parts of the world, a lot of parts of the world, they still do that. So a student might have World Bible School Lite, and they're using that with a solar charger, or they're going into an internet cafe. So you might be their teacher, and we're used to every day, every minute of the day, every second of the day. I mean, when I turned my phone on, when the plane landed today, it blew up. Everybody else's did, you know. We're connected all the time. In a remote part of the world, they may get with you in a couple of days or a week, or you may get 6 lessons at once. You know, there's different ways of handling that. But our IT guys, our engineers, have found a way to have a really useful tool. And so online, literally, you can be online in a couple of days teaching and sharing with folks. Last year, 262,000 new students using online. We're excited about that. It's on track to be a lot more this year. It's on track to be a lot more, but we're excited about that online. 565 new study helpers in 2024. We've had a rush the last couple of months of people signing up. 90 new congregations. That means a couple of folks from the same congregation have signed up, and either I have a couple of churches that I work with that the elders are watching, or kind of interacting with a group of teachers now, and maybe expanding it to an offered ministry, a ministry that they'll really push next year. They're letting some folks work with it. Some folks have attached it, and we'll see in a minute how that works, attached it to a ministry they're already doing, using it for follow-up work. This is my favorite thing. You know, as a preacher, old preacher, you always wanted numbers getting bigger. This is actually about 500 now. A couple of months ago, there were 1,200 students waiting. Now there's about 500 students waiting. We've had such a good number of Bible study helpers coming on board that's a number you like to see shrink, people that are waiting to study. And so 550 students last week when I checked, that were waiting, and they're on this big board, and you can target a certain country, or you can look at a certain language, or you can say, if you're bilingual in French, you can say, oh, I want to teach French, or I want to teach in Spanish, or I want to teach in Portuguese, one of the colonial languages. But there's people waiting. There's people waiting to hear the good news. This is a hot map from December, the last week of December in 2024. Once we went online, you see what happens from our traditional areas. We were traditionally strong in Africa, Central Africa to the south, and then also South America, into India, and a little bit in Indonesia. Look what happens when we went online. That's what happens. People all over the world are now be able to get online, worldbibleschool.org, and enroll as a student. But here's where I really enjoy it. Here's where I really get excited. When you have a couple of folks in your congregation, 3 or 4 people that are teaching, they are also enrolled as a member of the church on Gold Hill Road. Okay, and so they've put that title down. They've put the YouTube streaming link down just so we can double check, make sure people are in the same church. But once you do that, we can add on a Connect campaign. Again, no cost, okay? No cost at all. But with a Connect campaign, you can now take that, and I'm sorry this sounds kind of blunt, you can now take that technology, international technology, and flip it for local use. And this is how it happens. 2 ways. You can set up a web target. All right, so if you set up a web target around, if you drop the pin, York County, if you drop the pin in the middle, right here at the church building parking lot, wherever you drop that pin, you can have a web target from 1 mile radius to infinite radius. Well, let's talk about the infinite radius. We don't necessarily bump up against another church or another person, but you can have that web target, and when people start searching things like, if they're Googling things like Bible study or free study course or free Bible or something like that, we pick that up with Google marketing. We start picking that up and we'll start pushing that information to folks that are nearest, okay? But you know how algorithms work? And we get really frustrated with algorithms. You're talking to somebody about something on the phone, and all of a sudden you see ads for it in your email. That's frustrating, right? What if you redeemed the algorithms? What if people started being invited to church, or people started searching online, and then there's a response from us to them or you to them, and the algorithms start picking that up? Well, then when those searches occur within that web target radius, they'll start coming to you directly. Now with Google, the first 3 or 4 things are sponsored, pretty worthless. It's just whoever wanted to spend the money. But at about 3, 4, 5 range, we're starting to see our searches bump up into there with the responses. So we're excited about that. I'm excited that we've redeemed the evil of algorithms, personally speaking. I'm excited about that, using that for good. But web targets is the first thing you can do with having a Connect campaign. By the way, if you have a missionary or a church planner you're partners with somewhere, set up a web target around them. Be anywhere in the world. The same thing can happen. You could be teaching people, and I have churches I work with that do this. They teach people in the area of where their missionaries at, where their church planners at, and then turn over those relationships, give that information to the local missionary, to the local church. Works out great. It keeps everybody more connected, and it's just, you might be teaching English, but you establish a relationship and you can invite them to church 9,000 miles away. So there's all different kinds of ways to use the web target. Here's an example here. This is Travis County, Texas. Austin, mostly it's Austin. But the West Side Church in Round Rock has a pin dropped in Austin, and this is their radius. And pretty much most of Travis County, which is 1.3 million, and then Austin, which is about almost just short of 1 million people. But that's their web target. And then, of course, to the east or to the west of Round Rock is World Bible School headquarters. So we're kind of in the neighborhood as well. But that's a good example there. Here's the second way you can use it, is by having your own web link, having your own link, your own address. I noticed you had trunk or treat on the calendar for the 26th. This is Sunset Church in Lubbock. This is their trunk or treat last year. One came from my daughter. She and her family go to church there. And then one came from a friend of mine in the same parking lot. And every piece of candy, every toy had that card attached to it. Now, they do their own. We have them available for you. They do their own to go in with their other marketing. But every piece of something had that card attached. And here's what happens. Theirs is Connect to God. And some people use, if they're in a school area, they'll use the school mascot, or they may use their church name. There's all different kinds of ways to do it. But this is more direct than the web target. When people go into York County, we love York County, or we love Gold Hill Road, whatever you decide at .worldbibleschool.org, the student goes to that site, and the student enrolls. The student now is being taught, but not by somebody that went to the big board with 1,200 people. It's folks in your congregation. Sunset Church has a team of about 8 or 10. The Green Lawn Church, which is on the west side of town on LCU campus, they have about 6 or 7. And they, even when they overlap, they have connection with each other to make sure people are going. But when you use that web link, there's not an overlap. You're going directly to the person that invited you. So again, think about a trunk or treat. Again, 3,700 people in that one went through that parking lot that night, and each one of them had multiple toys and candy that had that card. Church in California, they use it with their clothes closet, with their food pantry. A church in Oklahoma City uses it with door knocking, and they have people in their neighborhood of the different languages of background. And so there's just so many ways. It can be a supplement. It can be your ministry. It can be your outreach, or it can be a supplement to what you're already doing. I always tell people, check out online. Check out online. There's lots of different ways you can use that. But with online, just know that once you start flipping that and using it locally, you can supplement any ministry you have. One last little anecdote, church in Omaha, they spent 6 months teaching internationally on that big board and pulling names and adopting people. And they still do a little of that, but they spent that time getting used to the system, and then now they're using it for local outreach. And so the church website, the worship bulletin, the card that you hand the little girl checking you out groceries, all of that has their link on it, and someone can, in the privacy of their own home, choose to study the Bible, but they're talking to someone local. Again, it's for free advice. But when you have that web link, something local on there, then they know it's local. They know it's people loving and caring for them, which is good. It balances out that phrase, World Bible School, that's in the link, to know that someone local is going to be sharing with them. Ocean Bridge, you guys have a good history with Ocean Bridge. I know there's been ups and downs, especially in the last year, with either the local service centers, or with technology. We're about to do a major upgrade on that. We've actually paused it, but even with all the ups and downs, we still had 74,000 students in 2024. We're on track to do that, maybe a little bit more, even with the frustrations and the slowdowns this year on the technology side. But we're excited about that. There's now about 88 active congregations. You guys are listed among those. There are service centers serving 9 countries, actually 10 countries now. We have a beta test going on with country. These are our different lessons complete, the growth in 23 to 24, and the congregations. And there's different ways people are using this. This picture is a church in Alabama. This is their ladies' Bible class. Every other week, they grade Ocean Bridge. This is a teen group and college group outside of Nashville. And the elders meet with them once a month, twice a month, and order pizza. They stay late at church, and they grade. What's interesting there is that there's actually grandparents and great-grandparents and parents and kids all grading together, or have that experience together. So neat things coming up with Ocean Bridge. Again, we're paused right now, working on some tech issues, but we're still excited about the future. Our service centers across Africa, we're about to move into India and then on into Indonesia in 27. Again, Ocean Bridge, you guys have good experience with that. I really want to get to Methodist and then have some time for questions. But Methodist is a social media kind of feel. It'll be group-based and question-based, interactive comments, much like you would see on social media. But these are different ways that people use Methodist. It's kind of an a la carte. We have lots of materials there, but you are welcome to pull what you want, to use your own materials, to bring in other things. Again, it is the platform that we really push. But family Bible study, personal Bible study, small groups, youth Bible class, one-on-one, there's just all kinds of different ways. You invite your friends, you are the group leader, and as that grows, interesting things happen. There's a church outside of Oklahoma City, has two Methodist groups, one domestic, one international. And the domestic one has students from OU and from Oklahoma City University and all the different places. And they wound up in that group, a friend of a friend of a friend invited, and a lady was baptized a couple years ago. She lived 3 blocks from the church building. No one had ever met her. And so there's little neat things like that happening all over the world, all over North America with Methodist. Again, we have some stats here. This one always intrigues me. 5,229 new users in 2024. But look down at the video views, 41,000 video views. So when you scroll on social media, they count if you're scrolling, they count if you pause, they count if you double click, different metrics. People were either watching a video 8 times or they're watching 8 videos. Either way, just like those coupons 65 years ago, that's today's technology. Seed is being planted. So we're excited. If you guys are ever interested in learning more about Methodist, methodist.org, and I can set you up in that kind of learning. Really good, say the 30 and down crowd, a college age, a lot of campus ministries, teen ministries will use Methodist as a platform and build their own programs on top of it using some of our materials. There's all kinds of different ways you can look at it. If you become a Methodist leader, you would get these reaching series that will get you started, and then you use us as little or as much as you want. But real quick, and these are in our catalogs and in our action magazines, our evangelism resources, the cards and things like that you would use with online, to the $5 Bible, to the different Bible curriculum. We have all kinds of really, really good studies, topical studies that have come along over the years. We're real excited about these. A lot of folks are using them for small group study, for Bible class curriculum. They're in 13-chapter format, so great for any kind of curriculum, especially larger cities, larger metro areas. I'm starting to see a lot of people pick up on the Muslim series. Very, very good study used in factory towns, law enforcement areas, things like that. People in those work in those areas of life. Really good curriculum there. Some children's materials, as well as, and it happens, you have someone that just, if you baptize that family or if you've taught that family, you might have just planted a church, depending on the distance they are to other people. So here's a guide there to help you through that. Now, as you look into the catalog, into the online catalog in the next few weeks, we're actually transitioning our artwork this month. So things will look a little different, but all the titles are there and ready to go. Our Unity in Christ book, this is our first publication in a long time where we've gone with a book format, a full book format. Really, really good study on what makes up unity, what is unity, what unity isn't, and what unity is. Just a really, really neat study. 50 forward. We're seeking 500 churches, 5,000 individuals, whoever wants to give and partner at $5 a month, $50 a month. This is one of those few times you can, I don't mind you getting your phone out in church if you want to scan that QR code. We're excited to be able to partner with good people, with good brothers and sisters. as well as partner with good brothers and sisters as teachers and as Bible study helpers. Here's why we do what we do. You'll be my witnesses, and when you receive power, when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, you shall be my witnesses in Jerusalem, in all Judea, Samaria, and even to the ends of the earth. I love that idea of Jerusalem. Acts lays out that way. The geography lays out that way. But also, when I think about Jerusalem, there are people that are like me. There are people that I have a lot in common with. I'm responsible to connect with them. There are people that are kind of like me, that Judea, kind of the like a country cousins or something like that. There are people that are kind of like me, I have a lot in common with. I'm responsible to make a connection, to share Jesus. What they do with it afterwards, that's between them and God. My responsibility is in the connection. We're in a church building, so this is the nicest way I can think of it. There are people that are somewhat like me, those Samaritans in my life. We might have a wedge. We might be on different pages. We might be poles apart, worlds apart on different things. But I still have a purpose. I still have a command to make that connection. And finally, as if Jesus thought, you know what? If anyone falls in the cracks, ends of the earth, everybody. I have a responsibility that I come into contact with to share the message of Jesus. Thank you for tonight. Thank you for letting me spend some time with you. Got a couple of minutes for any questions. Like I said, I did the fire hose kind of approach to the information. And so what you got?
So you mentioned a couple of times different language curriculums or whatever. Are those accessible inside the United States?
Yes. Two different ways. Our online that is either Portuguese, French, Spanish, and English. So you can choose any of those. For Methodist, we're working on a lot of different languages, and they're all accessible online. And with we have a resource button. If you ever want to play a little bit online, go to worldbibleschool.net, hit resources. Lots of neat stuff there coming up in all different languages. But as far as online goes, those 4 languages, and we're working on you being in Spanish, me being in English, or you being in French. And then curriculum-wise, printed-wise, we carry our own Spanish materials, and we license out to World English Institute and to World French Bible School on that.
Will the Indian curriculum become available when it's launched in the U.S.?
It will be available first in a read-only format online, and then the plan is, as this service center comes about, we have one funded, and we're working on another one in 26. As those service centers come online, is having the ability to study in it. Right now, it would just be read only. So, which is kind of nice. Someone can actually read through it before they decide if they want to either teach or be a student. Yes, sir.
Couple comments and questions. The postal is getting 455,000. And then your internet's 262,000, and the other ones are much lower. So the postal is what's working for you the most right now. And are you capturing out of these groups, because it appears that as you go more to technology and internet and other things, you're catching more of a younger generation than an older generation. Do y'all track aging throughout all of this is kind of one question. And then it appears that there's a lot of cost associated as you move technology. You mentioned IT engineers and all of this to write it. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but do you know what percent?
I don't know the percentage. I do know that we do track that. I don't know the exact percentage when they enroll. Our Ocean Bridge typically leans toward school systems, secondary school ages. We've actually caught ourselves up in the rhythm of those schools that we've kind of had to adjust to. Our recruiters do a lot of recruiting there, as well as prisons. Now, as far as the age goes in regards to technology, what we're seeing is that all ages are involved with the technology. because mostly it's communal living. You have 3 or 4 generations. We're about the only country on the planet that doesn't have 3 or 4 generations living in one household. And so that they know that that's there. But as technology grows, once you have the initial investment on a platform, then you're done. We actually, a donor commissioned a study on the viability of printed media with a secular company, and they studied who we were, and they studied what we do, and they said with the printed media, we have about 30 years left in the States using it as a prime product, and about 50 years left worldwide using it as a prime product. Because again, you'll have, we talk about similar things sometimes in a, and I hate to say it, a political context in the States, but you might have someone that's in a hut or living in a tree, but they'll have a smartphone. And they'll either have a solar charger or they'll have an internet cafe. A lot of our students live very minimalistic lives, but will have a smartphone. That's why we created that World Bible School Lite. And as far as investment goes, I think 4 years ago, I did have the numbers on that. I'm just not pulling at the memory right quick. When we decided to have an in-house engineering group, it's a whole lot cheaper than contracting it out. In fact, we actually contract out with sister ministries and give them a good deal now on sharing work. We want to bless other churches and sister ministries as well. So good questions though. But yeah, we have a secular. We've had secular folks look at it, and we've had church folks look at it, and we're seeing that right now we're kind of we're transitioning. A lot of ministries are going pure digital, or a lot of ministries are going pure materials, and we're still trying to keep that interactive where you have another human that's saved studying with someone who's going to be saved. That's what we do. Good questions. Got time for, let's do one more, sneak in one more.
I think as you look across your footprint globally, are you seeing any systemic sort of censorship or negative response, especially from a governmental standpoint, but it could be private? I'm just curious.
No, we don't a lot. I will tell you a good story when we're not streaming. Here in a little bit. I actually told Chuck the story a while ago, but I can tell you when we're not streaming. But yeah, we do run into that, and there's either local workarounds, or sometimes we just decide, hey, maybe that's not in our lane right now, or we just kind of push forward, and that's when we might downplay the local folks because we don't want to cause them trouble. And then sometimes our local brothers and sisters are like, hey, we'll jump in with you. So it's deep, but get me afterwards. I want to take just a second to pray for you guys and be thankful. I'm very thankful for you and the time tonight, and then I think my part's done. So, Father, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for this church, Father. Thank you for who they are, where they are, what they're doing, what they're being. And Father, if you give us opportunity to partner in more and deeper ways, Father, I pray that occurs. I would love to be associated with this church, Father. Just good people. Thank you for brothers and sisters and for opportunities to meet new brothers and sisters. Father, in all things, we want to honor you with what we do every day. And whether it's around the world or whether it's next door, whether we're using technology to talk to a neighbor or talk to a total stranger on another continent, Father, in all things, we want to honor you and share the good news. Thank you for the people that shared with us. Thank you for the people that taught us. May we be that to someone else. We look forward to seeing all these people in heaven. We look forward to being together and never saying goodbye then. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you very much.